You probably noticed that every line you can post consumption to a job from has the line type field. So this is the case for the purchase line we saw previously, but also for the job journal line, as you can see here. Now, the line type field has the same options as the planning line, so budget, billable, and both budget and billable. Now, what do we use the line type field for? Well, we can use it to create additional budget when posting consumption to a job, or to create a new billable line, or a line of both budget and billable. However, it's very important if the job has the apply usage link enabled or not. That makes a big difference for how the line type field is used. Now, to show you this, I've created a new job. So basically it's a copy from the setup work areas job. So this is the one. And the TM stands for time and material, because this is how I use time and material on jobs in Business Central. So it's only a very small example, but you will see the difference with this one. But the main difference, let's open this job, is that this job has apply usage linked enabled. So let me scroll down so here you can see it. And the new job, doesn't have the apply usage link enabled, as you can see here. For the rest, it's almost exactly the same. So there are a few planning lines missing because I've removed the lump sum lines because this is again a time and material job for me. But for the rest, it's exactly the same. Let's focus here on the kickoff meeting. So the kickoff meeting, we already budgeted Linda for, if I remember well, 3 hours. So yes, so 3 hours. And so for my time and material job, it's very important that this is using the job type budget. Because this is my budget, but because of the time and material agreement that we have with the customer, all the time we need will be invoiced to the customer. So if we need 2 hours, we will invoice 2 hours. But if we need 4 hours, we will also invoice 4 hours. And that's basically what time and material means. Now, to apply the concept of time and material, all consumption now should be posted with the line type billable, which means that if you post consumption of time or items, Business Central will then create new billable lines that you can then invoice to the customer. However, you always have to use it with the apply usage link disabled. Otherwise, this will not work, as I will show you in the example very soon. So that's the time and material, so the job without apply usage link. So let me go to the one with the usage link. So there you will see exactly the same. So the same 3 hours for Linda. So also only a budget, but in this case, apply usage link is enabled. Now remember, apply usage link will create a link between the job planning lines and the job ledger entries. And especially for items, this could be interesting because you can then also include your items in the calculate plan function in inventory management. All right, let's now see the differences if we post from a job journal. So I will go to the job journal. And in both cases, I will create a billable line. Yeah, so remember, I would like to post the consumption of the time Linda spent on the job. And it should be, or my intention is to invoice that time to the customer. Okay, so the posting dates, let's just take this one, the document number, then the job number. So for the first one, I will use job number 20, and the task is the kickoff meeting. So the resource is Linda, and let's take 2 hours. Then I will enter exactly the same, but then for job 30. And so remember, the job without the apply usage link enabled. So also this is the task kickoff meeting for Linda. And also here, let's post 2 hours to this task. All right, so again, exactly the same job journal lines. Let's now post and check the results. So everything is posted. And let me maybe start with the job that I called the time and material job. So let's go to this one. Let me click on navigate and job task lines. Let's go to the kickoff meeting and let's have a look at the planning lines. And by the way, you can already see here the usage that is posted. But let's look at the planning lines. So I will click here on process, job planning lines. So here you can see now that a new planning line is created. So we already had the budget line, but now there is also a billable line. So, and as you know, budget lines are never invoiced to the customer, only billable lines are invoiced. So Linda so far spent 2 hours on this task. So now if we would invoice this job, Business Central will invoice 2 hours. So if this is only what it took for Linda to do the kickoff meeting, then this is also on what we will invoice to the customer. But if afterwards Linda posts 2 hours in the same way, 2 additional hours, then at the end you will post or you will invoice a total of 4 hours. You see? So that's how you can process this. But again, this only works because the apply usage link is disabled. Because if we now go to this job, to which we posted the same transaction, if I go to the job task lines, there we go. So the kickoff meeting. And if I now show you the job planning lines, you now see the following. So we had the budget. So there was already the budget of 3. But now because of the consumption that we posted and because of the fact that Business Central tries to create a link between the planning line and the job ledger entry, it has created a new line of both budget and billable. So and this means, of course, that on top of the initial budget of 3 hours, we now have an additional budget of 2 hours. And we will only bill these 2 hours. But this means that if we look at the billable time, we see 2. But if we look at the budgeted time, we see 5. And that's, of course, a big difference. And now, the reason that we have this result, again, is because this job has the apply usage link enabled. And if you post consumption to a job, it always tries to create a link between the planning lines and the job ledger entries. And because my planning line is has budget, but the consumption was posted with billable and there is no billable line to link with, it has created a new both budget and billable line. And if you see, if you now click here, job planning line, job or linked job ledger entries, you can also see now that there is a usage, so there is a linked entry. But this will not work in like a time and material scenario. So there you would have to disable the apply usage link on the job card.